Hi guys, I'm Kylie Sinkowitz and this is my video for M2.2. This is my first page. Over here we have um, my Excel file for the square footage and organization. Um, and then here we have my project statement, and obviously that's kind of what we're going to go into through this video, so we'll kind of maybe refer back to it a couple of times. These are some site analysis charts and things. I thought in Phoenix that these three big charts here that I provided are kind of some of the more important things. Um, so we have like a sun shading chart right here, um, showing like when it is most important to have shade, um, when it's needed, when it's helpful. And then over here we have the ground temperature, which if you don't live in Phoenix, um, it's kind of, people, I should say people who live in Phoenix understand this a lot because, um, you go outside and if you're not wearing shoes or you're walking your dogs, this becomes a big issue. Um, and then down here we have wind velocity, which, um, I wouldn't say it's always windy in Phoenix, but definitely when we get those dust storms and stuff, and the past couple days, it's actually been very windy here. So there's that. And then my shading diagram, my matrix is right down here. So here is my first aerial shot, and this is my second one. Here's an eye level one. This is kind of straight through my central courtyard, which I'll point out when we get a little further along here into the floor plans. This is eye level from across the street. All right, so my site plan here, this is that courtyard I was talking about. So that eye level view is kind of like from right here straight through here. Um, I wanted to be, um, more creative when thinking about a school because I feel like a lot of times schools are just very, um, like obviously schools are supposed to be structured, but sometimes I think they're a little too structured. Um, so I thought that it would be fun to have like a courtyard that is kind of different. Um, so back here is like the classroom. These are the classroom buildings, and then this front area here we have like the entry admin and that stuff, the library, and then the cafeteria and the um kitchen. And then here again, we can see, and shoot, I forgot to label these, but this is a second floor to the library right here. So the library has two floors. I thought this could be cool as like a reading nook or something along those lines. And this is a second floor for the cafeteria for more seating, just because the space on this site is so limited. It's kind of hard to get all of the requirements in. So, but I thought that this was a good and cool way that to fit all that space in. And then obviously we have some more classrooms here. And then on the third floor, I have what I'm calling my two student lounges and the maker spaces. And then to go back to the classrooms here, I have these two buildings here, and I'm thinking a junior high school. So I was thinking, and my junior high was set up like this, and I found it very helpful, especially as an incoming seventh grader. But one of the buildings would be like the seventh grade building, and the other one would be like the eighth grade building. And then there's like the learning pods of seventh, like right here, seventh grade and seventh grade. These are the bathrooms in here. I'm still working on I realized I need another staircase. I'm gonna put it right back here. And then here is my site strategy and circulation. I think I should have made the scale a little bit bigger when I did this. but shoot. So the blue is the car circulation, so these are all the streets around the school, and then the green is the pedestrian, so I showed all of the sidewalks and all that, and then you can see in here there's a hallway back here, so each classroom would have that, and then they can go out these side doors back here, and this is where I was thinking parent pickup would be, where this um blue dotted line goes into the site right here, and then this box right here represents parking for right now. So I was thinking parking, parent pickup, and then you can come out right here to this side for parent pickup in this. Um, and then obviously there would be a ton of circulation in this courtyard in here because they could come out through here and hang out in here, and there'd be like seating areas and places to study and things like that. And then that's how they could also go to the cafeteria, and the front office is through here, through this courtyard. So here is my structure. So these are my, probably should have made them colored, but my beams are running this way, as you can see. And then here is my circulation isometric. So I showed, I took off, I just left the platforms for the hallways that would run along the back of the school here and then go down this way to the steps. And same thing on this other side is there's a hallway this way that goes back to the steps into the courtyard, obviously, and then the bathrooms are right in here. So that's what that green is in the middle here is into the bathrooms. And then I showed the front door up here and the door into the cafeteria. And obviously, this big courtyard would be circulation for all that too. So they would come down the steps and into this courtyard, or they could go, as I showed on the site map, back here to the parent pickup area. And then here is my east-west section, and this goes through the courtyard. And then here is my north-south one. Here is my north elevation and my east elevation. And that is it. And I said we were going to refer back to the project statement, so I'm just going to pull a couple of my key ideas out of there real quick. So as I mentioned before, it's a school for 7th and 8th grade students, a middle school. Um, I think that it would be really cool if it was a school that provided structure, obviously, but also allowed for flexible learning opportunities. Um, I also really want to stress community involvement in the school, which I could have mentioned with my cafeteria earlier, as I want it to be kind of more of a multi-purpose room. And then I want the maker spaces, studio spaces, and the library to be open to the public. Obviously, that would only be something that was able to happen during after school hours when the kids aren't there using all of those resources. But so I want it to be very community involved. I mentioned the two separate buildings, one for 7th graders, one for 8th graders. They're connected by the large courtyard in the middle. I also have the student lounges that I think is a great addition to a middle, especially in a middle school or a high school, would be a good application too, just for a place for students when they're having issues to, relax. It's good for mental health and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, thank you for listening.